a quick video to look at forming equations. So we're using CorbettMaths worksheet 115. So I've been asked for questions 3, 4, 5 and 6, so here they are. So question 3 there, I think of a number, I divide the number by 2 and then add 1. So we need to try and form an equation here. It's quite a tricky skill. So I'm just going to pick some random numbers. So I think of a number, so I'm going to think of the number 10. 10 divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, so I'm not trying to get an answer of 7 here. I'm just thinking what does it look like when I think of a number divided by 2 and add 1. So 10 divided by 2 plus 1. Another number 5. 5 divided by 2 plus 1. 17 divided by 2 plus 1. 196 divided by 2 plus 1. Okay, so then when I take x for an unknown number, I'm going to do x divided by 2, which I can write as x over 2, plus 1. Now I'm told in the question that equals 7. So there we go. That is how to form the equation there. So think of a number, we divide it by 2, we add 1. And that gives me an answer of 7. Okay, now part B asks us to solve that. So if we're going to solve that equation, what we need to do, we need to get this term on its own first of all. Okay, so at the moment we're adding 1 to it and getting 7. So if we're thinking about it, this plus 1 makes 7. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take away 1 from both sides of the equation here. So if we think about it, we know 6 add 1 is 7. So this here has got to be 6. But what we're going to do, we're going to balance it just like if we're trying to balance something on a seesaw. If we took 1 of something off one side of the seesaw, we need to take 1 of something off the other side of the seesaw. Okay, so I'm going to take away 1 from this side, but to keep it balanced, I must take 1 away from that side. So then I'm left with x divided by 2. Remember, this means the number divided by 2 equals 6. So then I'm going to undo dividing by 2, so I'm basically going to double both sides of my equation. So thinking about it in terms of the seesaw again, if I had this on one side of my seesaw, if I double this side, rather than having half of it, I would have a whole of it. So I would just have x, but I'd also need to double the other side, which would give me 12. Okay, let's go back to the question. So we're saying the number's 12. I think the number's 12, divided by 2, which is 6, and then add 1, which is 7. So we've got the right answer there. Right, question 4. Again, guys, this concept's reasonably tricky. Ideally would be in class doing this, but we're having a go on our own. So if we're not quite getting 100%, don't worry about it. We can talk about it when we get back to school. Question 4. Gregory is X years old. Daisy is 2 years older than Gregory. So again, for this one, I'm going to pick some numbers. If Gregory was 29, Daisy would be 29 plus 2. If Gregory was 43, Daisy would be 43 plus 2. If Gregory was 7, Daisy would be 7 plus 2. Now Gregory's X years old, so Daisy is X plus 2 years old. Okay. Again, that's a strange way to think about it if we're not used to thinking in that way. So there's Gregory's age, X years old. 2 more than that would be X plus 2. Again, if Gregory was 10, Daisy would be 10 plus 2. If Gregory is 15, Daisy would be 15 plus 2. Okay, so if he's X, then Daisy's X plus 2. And we're told that in total their ages add up to 40. So we know X plus X is 2X. So 2X plus 2 equals 40. That is the equation form. That's a tricky part. Now if we've went through lesson 1, we should be reasonably fine with this part. So again, we're thinking we're trying to balance out like a seesaw, so I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides here. So double x, or 2x, equals 38. So I've got 2 x's, I just want 1x, so I'm going to half both sides, because if I half 2x, I'll get 1x, which we just write as x, and half of 38 is 19. Again, let's go back and check, does that make sense? If Gregory's 19, Daisy's 19 plus 2, which is 21. 19 add 21 makes 40. That works out. Okay. Right, question number 5. Where are we? Robert is X years old. Hannah is 7 years younger than Robert. So again, let's just go random number generator. Robert might be 36. So Hannah would be 36 take 7. Robert might be 73. Hannah would be 73 minus 7. So if Robert's X years old, then Hannah's X minus 7 years old. And we're told that when we add those two together, we get 61. So let's just tidy that up. X plus X is 2X, so 2X minus 7 equals 61. Again, guys, this is quite a difficult concept, so I don't want you getting worried about it if it's not quite making sense. We'll talk about it when we go back to school. And part B says solve it. So we really just want 2x here. At the moment we have minus 7. So if I add on 7 to minus 7, I'm going to get 0 on that side. But remember, if I add something to one side of the equation, I must add it to the other side. So we're going to get 2x equals 68. Remember, 61 plus 7 is 68. The minus 7's gone because we've added 7 onto it. And remember, 2x, double our number 68, so half both sides, x is 34. Okay. And question 6. So same sort of idea. Michael is X years old. Jenny is twice as old as Michael. So again, let's think random numbers. Say Michael's 10, Jenny's 2 times 10. If Michael's 5, Jenny's 2 times 5. If Michael is 73 years old, Jenny is 2 times 73 years old, which would be very, very old. The sum of their ages is 57. So if we add their ages together, we're going to get 57. So Michael's X years old. Jenny's twice as old, so twice as much as X is 2X. And if we add those two together, we get 57. So X add 2X, that'll be 3X. So 3X is a 57. So I don't want to know what 3X's is. That's 3 times as much. So I'm either going to do a third of both sides or divide both sides by 3, which would essentially be doing the same thing. So 3x divided by 3 is x. 57 divided by 3 is 19. And I'll say it one more time, guys. If that doesn't quite make sense, that's okay. We can talk about it when we go back to school. I don't want you getting worried about it and stressed out about it, okay?